Jesus says, the Father is in me, and I am in the Father. Or as Jesus told Philip, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father. The question for you and me is, what do you believe? What do I believe? Who do you think Jesus is? Is he just a good teacher? Good parables? Great teaching? A man of great wisdom? That's all? Or something more? Or everything? That's a very serious question. Note this, we are in the Gospel of St. John. As I have said before, he doesn't focus on the miracles. Even the miracles are signs pointing to Jesus' divinity. That he is God himself, God with the human form, God, the Word made flesh, God dwelling among us. So when you see anything you in him or about him, think of God, because he is God himself. And note this too, very important. You will find in the Gospel of John, Jesus centers all the Jewish festivals on himself. Everything is about him. The Feast of the Tabernacles, the Feast of the Dedication, the Passover, everything about him. And he calls him the Lord of the Sabbath. And he does work on a Sabbath day because God works on a Sabbath day. What do I mean? Do you get the logic? God works on a Sabbath day. Children are born. People die. On Sabbath day, God is at work. That is a biblical theology. God is at work every day, day and night, even on a Sabbath day, because life goes on. Those who die, they are taken home. So God is at work all the time. That's a different point. Now focus on this one. Everything is about him. That's why towards the end of the Gospel of the Gospel, John says, remember again, John says the last Gospel is a meditation on the life of Jesus, his divinity. And John says, if I write everything about him, the world will not have a space to carry or to contain all the books about him. What John is saying is, Jesus is more than what you read in this book. Think about that. Jesus is more than what you read even in the whole Bible. Old Testament, New Testament, or how many books, all that you read, after having read all the books, you tell yourself, Jesus is more than all that is here. Because this is the Word of God, everything is about him, still you haven't understood everything about him, beyond. That's why Paul says, eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, you haven't read enough. I mean, there is more than what you read in this book. He is beyond, because he's God. As a human being, how can you and me understand him? The last point I want to make is, make sure everything is about him. Your life, your prayer life, your spiritual life, everything is about him. I'm not going to focus on the importance of devotions. You may have your own devotions. You may have hundreds of prayer books. Morning prayer, evening prayer, noon prayer, night prayer. Oh, I don't bother about. I would say, in all that, focus on the person of Jesus. Love him more than everybody on this earth. Love him more than everything on this earth. If you love him more than everything and everybody, then that is real worship.